What is going on, everybody? Drew YGO here, back with another deck profile, and today we are going to be doing Generators. So Generators are an archetype that is comprised mainly of boss monsters. That's their whole gimmick. You know, you've got the Generator Boss of Fire, Boss of Storms, and they're all based off of the Nordic Pantheon, which is really cool. They're level 9, so if you want to run this in Master Duel, it can go into the very fun dragon, but he's not in this deck profile because I hate that card with a burning passion. I'm glad it's banned and it should be should be ridded from Master Duel, but I'm getting besides myself here. I do love this archetype a whole lot. I love that it's kind of based around this field spell of it's like a level selection, and you've got like boss quest, and then you have the boss fight, boss room. This is really cool. It's like a video game. So we'll go ahead and get started. We're running one copy of Naglfar, the Generator Boss of Fire. You can only control one of these, as with all the other Generator cards. If a card or cards you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy one Generator monster or a Beast Warrior monster you control instead. Now, you may think that this is kind of a bad effect, which it's not one of the stronger ones, but you can destroy one of your Generator tokens that's summoned off of boss stage, so it's not too bad. But we're only running the one copy of it because it is kind of situational. It does have 3100 attack, which is not bad. Can beat over a lot of boss monsters like Baron or anything like that. So, all in all, we do run one copy because it's okay. But it's just another target for your Xyz monsters. Next, we got two copies of Har, Generator Boss of Storms. You can only control one of these, again. Once per turn, if your opponent adds a card or cards from their deck to their hand, except during the draw phase, you can make your opponent send one monster from their hand or field to the graveyard, their choice. This effect is awfully oppressive, right? If they activate any kind of draw spell, or if any of your own cards force them to draw a card, you can have them send one of those cards from their hand or from their field to the graveyard, which is kind of like a little bit of control there, right? It also has this other effect of when a card or effect is activated on a quick effect, you can tribute 2 Generator and or Spellcaster monsters to negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Like I said, you can also use their effect to tribute your own tokens, because they do count as Generator cards. So if you have a whole field of tokens, you can go ahead and tribute 2 of them, get a free negate, which is really powerful. Next, we have 3 copies of Mardell, Generator Boss of Light. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add a Generator card or one plant monster from your deck to your hand. You really want to special summon this ASAP, right? Because you can add in your boss quest, or you can add your trap, your field spell, anything like that. So, you really want to special summon this one out as soon as possible, because if you get your field spell, then you're able to special summon more of your Generator bosses during your opponent's turn. Next, we've got one Utgarda, Generator Boss of Delusion. Quick effect during your opponent's turn or during your turn. You contribute 2 Generator monsters or rock monsters, then target a card on the field and banish it. You can only use this effect once per turn. Like the other Generator bosses, we're only running one of them, not only because you can only control one of them, but just because it's not one of the more powerful effects. It does target, which is a bit of a problem, but it banishes instead of destroys, so if your opponent's boss monster is immune to destruction but not targeting, Utgarda kind of skirts around that. Then we have one copy of Nidhogg, Generator Boss of Ice. When your opponent would special summon a monster on a quick effect, you contribute 1 Generator monster or 1 worm monster to negate that summon, and if you do, destroy it. I feel like this is kind of the third most powerful effect, I guess, out of all of them, because it does negate a summon. You do need to have tokens out on the field, but I feel like that's a really strong effect, all things considered. Next, we got one copy of Hela, Generator Boss of Doom. Quick effect, you contribute 1 Generator monster or a zombie monster, then target a Generator monster or a zombie in your graveyard with a different name than the tributed monster on the field. Special summon that monster in defense position. This is just monster recursion. It's really good for getting back one of your, let's say your Har, or you can use it during your opponent's turn to get a quick effect banish, quick effect negate of a summon. So you're going to want to get this one out too. Next we have 3 copies of Lopter, Shadow of Generator bosses. All generator monsters you control gain 1000 attack and defense during your opponent's turn only. During the main phase, on a quick effect, you contribute a generator monster to special summon 1 level 9 generator monster with a different name from your deck. You can only use this effect once per turn. This is your main normal summon. Other than Lone Fire Blossom, it is also one of the only cards you can normal summon, but it is pretty powerful because you contribute it, get out your Mardell, get your field spell, and then on your opponent's turn, get your Har. Speaking of Lone Fire Blossom, we are running 3 copies of this card. Pretty simple, contribute it, get your Mardell since it's plant type, search, get your field spell, right? Simple. Next, we got the hand traps. We got 3 Ash and 1 Droll Lock. We're running Droll Lockbird in this deck because this deck is really reliant on kind of giving your opponent advantage. I know that kind of sounds backwards, but a lot of these effects make your opponent draw a card. So you can Droll them, and they won't be able to draw a card. So let's say that there's a mandatory effect that one of your cards has that you don't want to happen. You can go ahead and Droll and Lockbird them to keep them from adding cards from their deck to their hand. Also, I just really love this hand trap. Next, we got a couple 1-ofs. We got the 1 Raigeki, 1 Lightning Storm, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, and 1 Terraforming. Next up, we got 3 copies of Generator Boss Quest. You can reveal a Generator monster in your hand, and if you do, add up to 2 Generator spells or traps with different names from each other from your deck to your hand, except for Boss Quest. Then you place the revealed card on the bottom of your deck. You can only activate 1 Generator Boss Quest per turn. This is a really great card for the archetype because your field spell only allows you to special summon from the deck. So let's say you have a card that you really need to summon, but you can't because it's in your hand. You can go ahead and reset that with Generator Boss Quest, and it allows you to add your field spell or your traps directly from deck to hand. So definite 3 of. We're running the 1 copy of Kujikiri Curse. You can send a level 9 monster from your hand or face up field to the graveyard. Draw 2 cards. We're only running the 1 copy of this because you're not going to be in a situation where you must draw 2 cards, but if you do find yourself in that situation, you can go ahead and put one of your generators in the graveyard and draw 2 cards. Then you can special summon your Hela and then get it back from the graveyard. Next, we're running the 3 copies of World Legacy Monstrosity. You can activate one of these effects, special summon a level 9 from your hand, or target a level 9 monster you control, special summon from deck 2 level 9 monsters each with different original types and attributes from the targeted monster and with different names from each other. In Master Duel, this card might as well just say, yeah, go ahead and special summon VFD from your extra deck, right? This is just a free True King of All Calamities summon if you're in Master Duel, if you're in the OCG. But this isn't an OCG deck, fellas. This is a TCG exclusive. So you can go ahead and special summon your 2 other generators from the deck, and you can make a 9 Lives Cat, a Dyson Sphere. You can even make your Xyz boss monster, Jormungandr. So this card is really great synergy for the deck, that it just is generic level 9 summon them. So definite 3 of right here. Next, we're running 1 copy of Called by the Grave. This is meant to be in my 1-of section. Sorry I didn't go over it earlier in the 1-of section, but yeah, 1 Called by the Grave. Wish I could run 2, wish I could run 3. But unfortunately, Konami does not like me, fellas. Next, we got the 3 copies of Generator Boss Stage. Now, this is going to be kind of wordy, but I do kind of have to carry you through it a little bit. Once per turn, if a card or cards is added from the main deck to your opponent's hand, except during the damage step, you can special summon a generator monster from your deck in defense position. If you special summon a generator monster or monsters during your opponent's turn, you can special summon as many generator tokens, they level 4, 1500 attack and defense, as possible in attack position, but destroy them during the end phase, even if this card leaves the field. You can only use this effect of Generator Boss Stage once per turn. So let's kind of go over that. So if you activate this turn 1, as soon as your opponent draws a card, you can special summon one of your generators directly from deck. And also, it swarms the field with a bunch of tokens that you can use to activate your boss monster's effects, right? For Har, it's a negate. For Ugarda, it's a banish, right? And I really like the idea of your opponent selected a stage and the boss pops out and all of his minions come out and he sacks his minions to level up or something, right? So, next we got the 1 copy of Generaider Boss Fight. You can activate a Generaider field spell directly from your deck or graveyard, then your opponent draws 1 card. See, that's what I was kind of talking about a second ago, where this deck kind of gives your opponent advantage, but there are a lot of ways of kind of playing around that. Like with Har, you have the ability to gank one of your opponent's cards directly from their hand or field if they add a card from their deck to their hand. So letting your opponent draw a card is not terribly bad in this deck because we also do have things like Jormungandr. But let's say you use up all your field spells, you can activate Generaider Boss Fight and activate it directly from the graveyard. So it's not a 3 of, it's not really even a 2 of, but it's good to have just kind of around because you can search it off a Generaider Boss quest. Next we have the 1 copy of Generaider Boss Room. When your opponent activates a card or effect in response to the activation of your Generaider card, you can discard a card. Your opponent's activated effect becomes each player draws 1 card. So let's say that they activate some kind of negate. You can activate Generaider Boss Room and make that effect become both players draw a card, right? So again, not a 3 of, not a 2 of, but it's definitely good to have around just in case your opponent tries to do something about your Generaider cards. Next we have 3 copies of Fists of the Unrivaled Tenyi. When a spell trap card or monster effect is activated while you control a face-up non-effect monster, negate the activation. Now you're probably saying, we're only running effect monsters. But we have tokens, and the tokens are non-effect monsters. So, and it doesn't necessarily specify that you have to control entirely non-effect monsters, it's just while you control 1 non-effect monster. So we've got 3 of these lying around because it's an Omni Negate and it's not for the steep cost of half your life points like Solemn Judgment, which we are running 1 of. I'm going to kind of speed through the extra deck now until we get to Jormungandr because I kind of have to explain what he does. We got 1 number 77, 1 Zeus, 2 number 84s, 1 Infinitrack Earth Slicer, 1 Phantom Fortress Enter Blathnir, 1 Dyson Sphere, 1 Sacred Tree Beast Hyperiton, 3 9 Lives Cat, 1 number 92, and 1 Jormungandr. So Jormungandr's effect is you can only control 1 of them, obviously. This card's original attack and defense become 1,000 times the number of its materials. And now on a quick effect, you can detach 1 material from this card. Each player draws 1 card, then each player that drew attaches 1 card from their hand or field to this card. So this synergizes really well with Har, because Har has the effect of when your opponent draws, you can make them either discard or send a card from their field to the graveyard. So you force them to draw with Jormungandr. They have to attach 1 to Jormungandr from their hand or from their field. Har also rips a card out of their hand or field. So you can get this card up to huge attack points. It doesn't have any kind of inherent protection, but it's funny, right? And you guys know that that is what we love here on the Drew YGO channel. Is it funny? So you gotta put it in there. Next we have a number F0 Utopic Draco Future and a number F0 Utopic Future. That's it for the deck list, guys. Sorry for the long video, but I do love this archetype, and I did kind of have to run through what each of the cards do. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, let me know in the comments what you would take out, what you would put in, and what's your favorite Generaider boss monster. Let me know in the comments. We're going to get into some replays. This has been Drew YGO. Until next time.